Radhaya Krishna Tale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swaminiti Namine Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Yeah, so we were doing overview. So we will continue. I think we finished Karma Yoga chapters. I think we finished till chapter 6. We will continue with Bhakti Yoga. And I think, yeah, we need to start with Bhakti Yoga. We'll try and finish how much ever possible. And then maybe we need one more class and then we'll finish the whole thing. Let me just... Okay, so first 6 chapters, like we discussed, I think we discussed this, no? All this we discussed. I think we finished even chapter. I remember discussing all this. We finished 9 chapters. We need to start with the 10th chapter today. So, yeah, 10th chapter talks about opulences of the absolute, or we can also say Vibhuti Yoga, right? So Krishna talks about how. So what is the last instruction Krishna gives in the 9th chapter? Anyone remembers? 9th chapter of Bhagavad Gita. How does the chapter end? Yes, anyone?
Manmana Bhav Mataji, that shloka.
Yeah, Manmana Bhava Madbhakta, right?
Madbhakto Patyaji Mam Namaskuru, Mam Evashyasi Yuktevo, Matmanam Matparayanah.
So what does that mean? The main essence of the shloka is Manmana. Manmana means always think about me. Madbhakto, become my devotee, right? So, always thinking about him. How, right? That is the question Arjuna asks. How can we always think about you? How to follow that instruction? That is the reason Krishna explains about Vibhuti Yoga. Krishna states all the Vibhutis in this chapter just to help us all, remember him every time, like in 24 hours a day, in our day-to-day life. How to remember Krishna? Just by remembering his vibhutis, right? That's why he says he's the sun, right? Among Pandavas, he's the he's Arjuna, right? Among all kinds of snakes, he's Vasuki, right? So in our day-to-day activities, we will be able to think about the Lord, right? In whatever dealings we have, in all the acts, he is a, right? Krishna talks about all this. Remember him. So yeah, so he's the origin. Aham Adir hi Devanam, Krishna says, no? He's the origin of all the Devatas and the Muni, right? Sages. And Aham Sarvasya Prabhavo. So Chatushloki Gita also comes in this chapter, right? Chatushloki Gita, 4 verses that explain the whole of Gita. So this they might ask in the interview, right? So it's nice if we remember this. They might ask, what is Chatushloki Gita, like you can talk about these verses. Aham sarvasya prabhavo matta sarvam pravartate iti matva bhajante mam buddha bhava samanvitaha. Everything emanates from Krishna, right? That is the main essence of the shloka. Everything emanates from Krishna. Then Krishna talks about devotee association. Because everything emanates from Krishna, devotees talk about that all-pervading personality. Machitta matkata pranam bodhayanta parasparam katayantascha mam nityam tushyanti cha ramanti cha. That's the next shloka of Chatushloki Bhagavatam. Then, if devotees are always engrossed, definitely Krishna will give them intelligence so that they can attain them. Right? Tesham satata yuktanam bhajatam priti purvakam dadami buddhi yogam tam yena mam upayantite. So these all these verses you can remember. And so first part of the chapter deals with Krishna, the all pervading, and mattaparatam nanya, there is no one superior or equal to him, right? So Krishna talks about his greatness empirically, and then he gets into the details of the description, explaining his vibhutis in the next part of the chapter, right? So these are the things we need to remember. Yeah, this is what I was talking about, how devotees, what devotees do when they get together, right? Machitta matkata pranam, they always talk about the Lord. Bodhayanta parasparam, they exchange about the pastimes of the Lord, right? With each other they discuss Krishna kata katayantascha mam nityam, every time, right? And they take pleasure and they get satisfaction out. Tushyanti cha ramanti cha. Right? So here very beautifully explained. Just like a fish cannot sustain life without water, pure devotees cannot live without talking about the Lord or without glorifying the Lord. Right. So that is one of the major characteristic. How does a devotee differentiate himself? Just by showing this characteristic. They cannot live. How we can't live without food and water, right? So devotees cannot live without talking about Krishna or glorifying the Lord. Right. So if you want to call yourself a devotee, that principle we need to follow. What is that? Smartavyam satatam Vishnu, vismartavyam na chatachit. Always remember the Lord, never forget the Lord. Right? So then only we can call ourselves a devotee. And this shloka is very apt for that. We have to always, how to remember? We can't remember in our mind alone all the time, right? We need people. That is why devotee association is important. When you read something nice in the pulpit, you should have someone to at least go and share it, right? So that is very important. And with great joy and bliss, they take delight in enlightening each other when they meet other devotees. That's very, very important. And then with this, Krishna gives us the intelligence, provided we are thinking about him and worshipping him with love, Preeti Purvakam. Right? Bhajatam Preeti Purvakam, then only Krishna will give us Buddhi Yoga, intelligence to reach him. Right? Tesham evanukampartam aham ajnanajam tama Nashashyami Atmabhavasto Jnanadipena Bhashvata. This is the last shloka of Chatushloki Gita, right? Where Krishna says he will destroy the ignorance, darkness of ignorance with the light of knowledge. And he personally, Atmabhavasto, right? And he personally carries that light of knowledge into our heart, Jnanadipena Bhashvata, and destroys our ignorance, right? So this is very, very important. So essence of 10th chapter, apart from the vibhutis, is we need to know greatness of the Lord, right, in a on higher big in a big picture. So this helps us understand all that, right? Then Arjuna acknowledges, after understanding all this, Krishna talks, Arjuna acknowledges his position and he starts to sing this, right? Parabrahma parandhama pavitram paramam bhavan purusham shashvatam divyam adidevam majam vibhum ahustvam hrasaya sarve devarshir naradastata ashito devalo vyasa swayam chaiva bhravishi me. So this is a prayer. Many devotees by heart this prayer. It's a short prayer, no, that Arjuna offers to Krishna. So it is a verse that highly glorifies the Lord, right? So 10th chapter, this verse is a highlight. It's a prayer verse actually. Parabrahma parandhama pavitram paramam bhavan, right? He's Parabrahma, is the chief of all the. He's the chief of all spiritual living entities, right? Parandhama is the supreme destination. Pavitram, he's pure, purest. Paramam, he is the highest, right? Purusham Shashvatam, the only Purusha, he's the enjoyer, right? Shashvatam, he's eternal, there is no death for the Lord. Divyam, he's transcendental. Adi Devam, he's the first, everybody emanates from the Lord, right? Ajam, he has no birth, right? And Vibhum, he's Vibhu Atma, we are Anu Atma. He's great, we are small, right? So these things we need to understand. And then he also, we also talk about vibhuti mat sattvam. So here Krishna starts to describe his vibhuti, right? So here in the picture we can understand, right? What all he is, like among beasts he is lion, right? From this picture, can anyone of you identify the Lord's vibhutis? You can unmute and answer. All these represent the Lord. So what are the categories? Can anybody? Yes, Hare Krishna. See, no, in the picture, among the sages, he, yeah, yes, Mataji.
Demigods are there.
Among demigods, who is he?
Shiva, Brahma, Narada Mataji.
Among the sages, he is Narada Muni. Then, yes, Madhav Prabhu.
Yes, among the Adityas is Vishnu.
No, among Adityas, he is Vishnu. Let me just check 1 second. Among Pandavas, he is Arjuna. Among sages, he is Narada. Among demigods, he is Indra, no? He is Devendra, Indra. And among...
Rudras is Shiva.
Yeah, among the Rudras, he is Shiva. Very nice. And then among those horses, something he is...
Ucheshrava.
Yes.
Ucheshrava.
And among the elephants is
Airavat.
Among the
Airavat.
elephants, he
Airavat.
is... Airavata. Very
Airavat.
nice.
Airavat.
Yes. Among many multi-hooded serpents, who is he?
Vasuki.
Vasuki.
No. Among
No,
snakes, he is
Sheshnak. Sheshnak.
Adishesha.
Adishesha.
Adi.
Adishesha.
Right? Anantashesh. Very nice. And among Pandavas, he is Arjuna.
Arjuna.
Among the Pitrudevas, he is this person. I forgot his name. It starts with A only. Anyone remembers?
Atri.
No. And among Vedas, he is Samaveda. Right? That is one thing we need to remember. And then, yeah, among Yakshas and Rakshas, he is Kuvera. Right? And among right, Meru Parvata. And then among the learned scholars, he is Brihaspati. Among the generals, he is Kartikeya. Right? And then what else? Among the sacrifices, he is Japayagnya. Yeah, Yajnonam Japa Yajnosmi, right? Among sacrifices, he is Japa Yajna. Among immovable objects, he is Himalayas.
Among vibration is Om.
Yeah, among vibrations, he is Omkar. And among the trees, he is
Again, picture again.
Ashwatha.
Ashwatha. Yeah, very nice. The banyan tree, right? And
Among the Petros is Aryama.
Aryama. Yeah, this is what I was asking for. Right, very nice.
Aryama.
Aryama. Okay, yeah, I think we've covered everything. There are actually more, and then Krishna says, Ekam Shena Sthito Jagat, right? What is the use, Arjuna, of knowing all my unlimited splendor and potencies? With my single fragment of energy, I created the entire universe, Krishna says, no? Shena Sthito Jagat. Okay, that is about 10th chapter. Now, next chapter, the universal form of the Lord, right? Vishwarupa Sandarshana Yoga. Okay, so Krishna talks about Krishna shows his universal form. So it is just a pictorial description of 10th chapter. So Arjuna says, okay, fine, you have told me all your vibhutis, how you come, how you pervade this universe, in what form you exist in each and every category of this world. I want to see all that, right? In a visual form, I want to see. So Krishna says, okay, fine, I will show you. So visual representation of the 10th chapter is 11th chapter, the universal form, where Krishna shows his universal form, all his vibhutis in one form, all in one, right? And apart from Arjuna, who else sees the universal form? Anyone?
Sanjay.
Sanjaya, very nice. So only two people will be able to hear Bhagavad Gita and see the form of only Arjuna and Yudhishthira. Sanjaya, what happens to others in the battlefield?
They do not have the Divya Drishti
David,
to see
David,
that form.
No, but what about people who are right there with Arjuna in the battlefield?
The effulgence actually masks everybody's eyes.
Okay, that's one answer. But what is given in the scriptures? I heard from a senior acharya. Anyone?
They are stand still, Mataji.
Yeah, the time stops. Krishna stops the time. They all become statues. They don't know what is happening around. They don't know who they are because they become a statue, like literally. We used to play games, no, in childhood, statue game. Krishna plays that in a significant manner, right?
Mahabharata.
So he makes everybody statue and he stops the time. Nobody sees anything. Nobody knows what is happening. They don't hear anything, right? So that way, if you think, Dhritarashtra is actually lucky because he explained to him what is happening, right? So he stops the time, and then anything is possible. He covered the sun with his disc and killed Jayadrath, right? So Krishna is
Yes.
insignificantly achintya. He is. We don't have words to describe the Lord, right? So yeah, so Arjuna is bewildered. Krishna shows the universal form, so many hands and so many legs and so many eyes and heads and faces and everything, right? So many. So here he says, no, aneka bahuddara vaktra netram. So many eyes, so many eyes. Pashyami tvam sarvato ananta rupam. The rupam is endless. I'm seeing a form which is covering the whole sky. Sky is limitless, right? And his form is also endless because it's covering the entire sky. Wherever he's seeing only Krishna, right? So that's why he gets very scared, actually, right? And then what happens? And there are reasons why Arjuna asks him to form. Why? What is the main reason? Yes, anyone? This is all 11-1 Bhagavad Gita, actually.
Because he wanted to show it to all common man.
Why?
Mataji,
Because the God is
this-
supreme.
Hmm.
He is the only one. Just to
Yeah, he's the only one, and nobody should claim that
claim.
God,
Correct. Yes,
right? So
Mataji.
that
Yes,
is why
Mataji.
Arjuna wanted him
Arjuna
to
wanted.
the universal form, so that nobody will come and say, I am God, worship me, right?
Yes,
So
yes, yes.
that is the main reason. And yeah, that's about it, the Vishwarupa. And then here it is, yeah, description of, so along with the Vishwarupa, there is Kalarupa also shown, right? So what is in Kalarupa, anyone? What does he see in Kala Rupa form of the Lord? What is Kala?
time.
Yama,
Time. Yeah, time. The eternal time, which is nothing but death, right?
yeah, Yama, he is
Yeah,
Yama, no?
yeah. Mrityu Sarva Harashaham, the Kala,
Harashya.
the unstoppable time. But what does Arjuna see in Kala Rupa form of the Lord?
He is swallowing everybody.
He's swallowing everybody. Yes, very nice. Who is that everybody?
All those who are in the battlefield at at particular moment of time.
Kauravas.
Yeah,
Kauravas.
everybody, not just
Everybody.
Kauravas. Even the people supporting Pandavas' army are also being swallowed. Except the Pancha Pandavas, nobody is alive. Nobody was alive in the battlefield. Everybody will be killed, right? So he shows that in Rupa form there is a fire, huge fire, and all the Kauravas and everybody are one by one getting into that fire, and they are getting killed in the mouth of the Lord, right? So Krishna comes, no, Kalo Asmi Lokakshaya Krit, he says, I come in the form of death and I destroy the entire universe, right? So that is the Kala Rupa form, and then Arjuna is shocked, right? Oh, then he gets to know, okay, except the five of us, we five brothers, nobody will be alive, right? Then Arjuna understands Nimitta Matram Bhavasavya Sachin. He's just an instrument in the Lord's plan. It is Krishna who is going to be planning, right? He's already written down, and Arjuna is just acting as an instrument, executing his plan, right? Just an instrument executing his plan. So he was just an instrument, right? So if Arjuna said, no, I will not fight, Krishna would have executed his plan in some other way. Maybe like with a thunderstorm or one Sudarshan Chakra, something. One Sudarshan Chakra would have been enough, right? So some or the other way he would have executed done, and Krishna wants that only to be executed, right? So he gives a chance for his devotees to take part in his leela. If devotees reject, then he will find some other way. He will not be at any loss, right? This is something we have to understand. And so we have to get lot of punya to at least be an instrument in Krishna's plan. Many senior devotees pray to Prabhupada, asking him to make them an instrument in Prabhupada's mission, right? On Guru Puja time, they will pray, make me an instrument in your hand. Because to become an instrument in a Vaishnava's hand, you need lot of punya for that. You need lot of qualification. It's not easy, right? It is said, no, Krishna doesn't use useless, right? So we need to have some kind of qualification, some kind of desire should be there in our heart. Only then we can help the mission. Right. So, but Arjuna is asking Krishna to show the universal form, the display of power and destruction. Okay, this is all we covered. Then the Kala Rupa is explained over here. Yeah, Kalo Asmi Lokakshaya Krit, all this is done. Yeah, and then Arjuna starts feeling fearful, right? And then he requests the Lord, I don't want to see this universal form. Please come back to your original form. Then Krishna shows which form?
Two
No, four-armed Narayana form, right? The four-armed Narayana form he shows, and then he says, this is also not my original form. So, what is Krishna's actual personal original form then? Anyone?
two
Shyam Sundar form.
Sorry?
Shyam Sundar form.
Yeah, the Shyamasundar, two-armed Shyamasundar form.
arms.
Right? So all the demigods will see the four-arm Shanku Chakra Gada Padma form very easily. But when they saw the Krishna Shyamasundara form, they did not even know he is the Lord. That's why Brahma Vimohan Leela happened, Govardhan Leela happened, because they all thought, okay, he's just a small boy. Let me test. How can he be Krishna? Because they knew the Shyamasundara form of the Lord. That's why this is a highly confidential form which only pure devotees see, not everybody, right? And it is impossible for anybody to see this form unless they have pure devotional service. Pure love should be there for the Lord. Only they can enter Goloka realm of the Lord, or the two-armed form. Actually, this form is very, very beautiful and very, very important, because once what happened in in Vrindavan, all gopis were playing with Krishna. Okay, they were dancing and playing with Krishna, and they were playing hide and seek. Okay, so Krishna was counting, and all the gopis went to hide. Okay, and then when they came back, when they went to hide, they were hiding and hiding. Krishna never came to search for them. Okay, so they only came out and saw to see what has happened to Krishna. And Krishna had this four-armed form. Suddenly, right? Krishna displayed his Narayana feature to the gopis, and gopis saw the Narayana feature, like, oh, Narayana is here. They offered obeisances, the feet, and then they stood up, and then they said, okay, fine, Narayana is there, but where is Krishna? And they started running to search where is Krishna. That is the form. Can you imagine? Narayana form did not do anything to gopis. They just respected it for a moment as formality's sake, and they were like, okay, fine, but where did Krishna go? right? And then Krishna got removed his two hands and showed his Shamasundara form. Then they were like, oh, Krishna is here, and they ran toward him, right? So that's why, you know, only pure devotees like only Krishna Shamasundara form, because they can exchange all kinds of rasas. With Narayana form, we can't. We can't treat Narayana as our son and say, ah, come sleep on my lap, I will feed you, right? Because it's mixed with Aishwarya Bhav. Even Lakshmi Devi's position is at the feet only. She will be doing Pada Sevanam for Narayana, right? So that's the significance of the Shamasundara form. Very, very significant. And it's not, it's highly confidential. Okay, then next what happens, Krishna, after seeing the universal form, because he gets scared, I mean Arjuna, he starts praying to the Lord. No, he says, oh Krishna, I thinking you're just a friend, you're just an ordinary human being, I called you with names, right? I ate with you, I played with you, I defeated you in so many games, right? I never respected you, I just considered you to be my friend, right? So he seeks forgiveness, and then Krishna shows the Narayana form, and then Krishna shows the two-handed human like Shamasundara form, right? And bhakti is the qualification to see the this particular highly confidential form of the Lord, right? So that is very important. And then yeah, how you will go back to Krishna. So this is the summary of Karma Yoga and Bhakti Yoga put together. Work for Krishna, consider Krishna to be the supreme, become Krishna's devotee, become detached from everything material, be envious of other people. Okay. Next, Krishna talks about the stages of devotional service. 12th chapter, short chapter, but it talks about the different stages. Right? Not all of us can become pure devotees, right? So if you can't become a pure devotee, what else can you do? That is what Krishna explains in this chapter. A person who is considering Krishna as a person and performing devotional service is the greatest of all transcendentalists, right? So because Krishna is not impersonal, he is a person, right? So he is Purusha, right? So we have to first of all understand he is the supreme personality of Godhead. He is not some light or anything. That in itself is the first stage to come to the devotion service platform, right? Considering Krishna to be a person and not just some light, right? And we need to remove that idea of merging with the light and etc., and perform service to the Lord, right? As a servitor. Then we can that is the first step of becoming a transcendentalist. It's very important. Then devotees travel the spiritual path very easily because we have a relationship established between Lord and ourselves, right? Unlike the other kinds of transcendentalist spiritualist who treat Krishna to be some energy, light, and etc. When you consider Krishna as a person and you know Krishna as a person, you can establish a relationship with him. You cannot establish a relationship with a light or a non-living thing, right? So that's why it is very easy. So sukham kartum avyayam, Krishna says, no? And bhakti yoga is easily performed and one can easily attain Krishna. So the impersonal path is troublesome. Krishna himself talks about all this, right? So that's why Krishna says establish a relationship with me, Krishna says, no, in Bhagavad Gita. So that talks about uh, the personal form of the, now the stages, right? The progressive levels of bhakti. First is we have to do manmana, right? Pure devotional service. Our mind should always be attached to the lotus feet of the Lord, but that is very, very difficult, right? It's very difficult. So fixing our mind on Krishna is very difficult in our busy day-to-day modern life that we are having. It is so fast, all the time running here and there, right? It's a busy life, right? So what Krishna says, okay, if you can't do that, it's okay. Fix your intelligence in me. Manana Atmika Bhakti. Smaranatmika Bhakti is the highest stage, and the Mananatmika Bhakti is the next stage. Fixing our intelligence. So what we are doing, connecting it with Krishna some or the other way, right? In Hindi they say, no, some jodna, right? You don't break or stop doing anything. Just add Krishna to whatever you're doing. That's the intelligence. Using intelligence to connect Krishna, bring Krishna in the center of whatever you're doing. then try to fix your mind on Krishna Sarupa Bhakti. Trying to. So, see, this is the difference stage and the first stage. I mean, the last stage. The highest stage is fixing your mind. This stage here, we are trying to fix our mind. Abhyasa Rupa Bhakti. Right? Abhyasa is sadhana bhakti. What we are doing, common people in general, what all we are doing every day is this kind of bhakti, sadhana rupa or abhyasa rupa bhakti. Right? Following Prabhupada's instructions, waking up early in the morning, attending Mangalarati, japa, then prayers, offering prayers, Bhagavatam class, right? Doing karma yoga, going to our office, but giving that money to Krishna, at least a little bit, right? And going to our office, doing the work and saying, Om Tat Sat or Krishna Pranamastu. This work is for him, right? So when we do this, we are doing sadhana bhakti. We are learning. I mean, we are practicing? We are practicing devotees, right? So this is Abhyasa Rupa Bhakti. Then work for Krishna, right? Work for Krishna is the next stage. Those who can't do sadhana, those who are not chanting 16 rounds, or those who are not able to attend Mangalarati, those who do not want to, keep up this, what is that? The timetable Prabhupada has given, if it's very difficult due to any reason, then they just do karma bhakti or karma yoga, right? Just work for Krishna. They work for the Lord. Maybe helping in temple construction, helping in preaching, making PPTs, right? Donating money, right? Or doing any kind of work, right? Cooking or doing any kind of work for the Lord, just work, right? And then if they can't even do that, then they will do the first stage. This is give up results of the work. You do whatever your work doing, but give the results to the Lord, right? So they don't work literally in Krishna consciousness, but they just give up the results of what they are working for the Lord, right? That is the first stage. Right? So whichever stage you are in, doesn't matter, you will be taken to the pure Smaranatmika Bhakti stage by the Lord if you're doing what you're doing sincerely. Whichever stage you are in, doesn't matter, sincerity matters, right? And then you will be taken to the Ananya Bhakti stage automatically if the Vaishnavas are pleased, right? And then the qualities, no, in last few verses of 12th chapter, I think last 8 verses, it's called Priya Ashtaka, right? Krishna talks, Ashtaka means 8 verses, no? Krishna talks about the qualities that endear him, right? If you have these qualities, you can become dear to Krishna. So what are these qualities? Krishna talks about it: humility, forgiveness, satisfaction, non-enviousness, equanimity, respect, compassion, tolerance, right? The qualities which we are struggling to develop, all those qualities endear Krishna. Okay, so yeah, actually humility is the most difficult, because once remember in our Bhakti Shastri exam, okay, we had 12 chapter exam, and one very senior devotee was there in our group, and they were helping us study this chapter. And what she told was, these qualities, I mean, we were struggling to remember, how to remember, so many questions are there, how to remember these qualities in order and all. Then that devotee was like, whatever qualities I don't have, those are the qualities that Krishna like, so it is easy to remember. So we were like, that is your humility, that devotee is a very senior devotee, and in a big forum, saying that is not easy. Whatever qualities I don't have, those are the qualities Krishna likes, right? It's very difficult, and that is humility. That's the most important one, right? It's not easy. We can develop others maybe, but humility is very difficult. Okay, next, 13th chapter. So 13th chapter to 18th chapter deals with which yoga? Anyone? Yes, anyone? 13th to 18th, which yoga?
Karma
Jnana
yoga.
Gyan.
Yeah,
Jnana yoga, very nice. Right, so Bhakti yoga ends with 12th chapter. Yes? Bhakti yoga ends with 12th chapter? Yes or no?
Yes.
Yes? How many of you say Bhakti yoga ends with 12th chapter?
Yes, Mataji.
All of you say it ends with 12th chapter, is it?
It doesn't end, actually, it continued, but for the
Yeah, on paper for bifurcation, I mean categorization purpose, it might have ended, but even in 13th chapter, if you read, I mean even from 13th chapter to 18th chapter, how beautifully Krishna talks about his greatness and makes us realize devotional service is the only sweetest thing in the world, right? Even in poets, if you see, Prabhupada beautifully connects Bhakti Yoga every verse of the chapters from 13th to 18th. Okay. So this chapter begins with the 6 questions Arjuna asks. Right? Prakriti, Purusha, Kshetram. So he asks 6 questions. What is Prakriti? What is Purusha? What is Kshetram? Kshetrajna, Jnanam and Gneyam. Right? So these are the 6 questions, and this whole chapter Arjuna asks these questions and Krishna explains these answers. Right? Who is Prakriti, that material nature? Purusha is Krishna. Kshetram is, what is Kshetram? Anyone?
Our body is a kshetram, Mataji.
Yes.
human body.
Human body Kshetram for the soul. Right? And what is Kshetrajna? Who is Kshetrajna?
Krishna is the Kshetrajna, the enjoyer.
There are 2 Kshetrajnas. The knower of the body are 2 people. Anyone else?
One is Paramatma
Huh.
and the Atma within.
Yes, very nice. So 2 Kshetrajnas are there, or the 2 knower of the bodies. One is the Atma, the individual soul, and the other one is Paramatma. Okay, then Jnanam. What is Jnanam?
The knowledge,
Knowledge of what?
knowledge of we are not the body, the soul,
Okay. Then,
and knowledge of the super soul within.
yes, the knowledge of our position and the Lord's position. So Kshetrajna are 2 people, right? So knowledge of who are those 2 people is what is known as actual knowledge, right? Paramatma, who is the Lord, and the soul, the Atma, who is the servitor of that Lord. That is that. So you can see how Bhakti Yoga is. Krishna is the Lord, he is great, and we are servitors, we are minute and we are servitors, right? So the submission or the surrender feel is brought in even in the Jnana Yoga chapters. And Gneyam, what is Gneyam?
Name is the body.
No. The object of the knowledge.
The
Right?
object of
Gneyam is the
object of
object of the knowledge. That is, the soul and super soul are the object of knowledge. Right? And we can attain this knowledge only by incorporating those qualities, the cultivation of qualities that Krishna explained in the 12th chapter. Priyashtakam, humility and forgiveness, non-enviousness. Right? Now, because of association, the spirit soul is actually Satchidananda, transcendental, only because the spirit soul contact with the material world, right? It travels from one body to another and experiences suffering and happiness in the material world, right? Only because of the contact with material world, right? Otherwise, the soul is actually Satchidananda. The moment the soul comes to material world, the Satchidananda feature of the soul is covered by the curtain of Maya. Okay, and we will forget our, that is only called ignorance, forgetfulness of Krishna and our own position, right? And then what happens? Suffering will start, and then death will happen, transmigration, and the only process of stopping this is by surrendering to Krishna, right? Only that's the only way. So this shloka is very important. Purusho prakriti stohi bhungte prakriti jan gunan. Purusha prakriti stohi bhungte prakriti jan gunan karanam guna sango asya. Karanam, why the suffering of the soul happens? Guna, karanam is guna sango asya, the sangha of the material energy, right? Sad asad the soul will come in contact with good people, bad people, suffering and happiness happens, janma after janma, until we surrender to the Lord and become devotees, right? And then, 1 second, give me a moment. Okay, Hare Krishna. Now, 14th chapter talks about. So we talked about Prakriti in the last chapter, right? The material nature. So material nature has three modes. So the 14th chapter talks about the three modes, or the elaborate description of what is material nature. So what are the three modes of material nature?
Mode of goodness, mode of passion, mode of ignorance.
Yeah, very nice. Sanskrit terms?
Sattva, Rajas, Tamas.
Yeah, Sattva-guna, Rajoguna, and Tamoguna. Right, so here Krishna explains conditioned soul is always entangled in either one or all the modes of material nature. Sarva yonishu kaunteya murtaya sambhavantiya tasam brahma mahadyonir aham bija pradapita sattvam rajas tamo iti guna prakriti sambhava nibadnati mahabaho dehe dehinam avyayam. Right, so Krishna is the seed giving father for all living entities, but the moment we come to this material world we are entangled with by all or either one of the material modes. Okay, so we are either in goodness, or we are in goodness, rajoguna and tamoguna, or all three, or either two gunas or one guna or all three gunas, of all these three gunas, right? But we will be entangled, and mode of goodness is also an entanglement, because it makes us complacent, and we will forget God, right? We'll be like, everything is nice here, I will be here only, and we will not make an attempt to go out of this material world to the spiritual world. So mode of goodness is also an entanglement, right? So that is what here Krishna talks about. Effect of conditioning by the modes. Based on what mode we are in, right? After death, we will get that kind of body, right? If you are in the mode of goodness, you will go to demigod planets, maybe heaven, and we can enjoy there. But if we die in the mode of passion, we'll become humans, right? We'll come back to this earth and we will take birth as humans to complete our, to achieve our unfulfilled desires. And if we die in the mode of tamoguna, right, or the ignorance, then we will become animals or demons based on the intensity guna, right? And we will be taking birth as demons in the lower planetary systems, or we will take birth as animals on earth itself, right? So that's very important to maintain, at least to come to the mode of goodness is very important, so that he can go to higher planetary systems, right? But for devotees, none of the modes act, because they are on which platform? Anyone? Which guna are devotees in?
Shuddha Sattva Guna.
Shuddha Sattva Guna, very nice. Higher to the mode of goodness. It's called pure goodness, right? And that's why Krishna says, no, people in the mode of goodness worship which god?
Demigod.
Demigods. People in the
Demigods.
mode of passion?
Ancestors. Huh?
No.
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 Yes, anyone?
Demons.
Yeah, very nice. Demons, right? People in the mode of passion worship demons. Demons, as in people who are going to do good to them. They think, okay, this person is a leader. If I worship him, he will give me nice opportunities, nice money, etc. etc. A perfect example is politicians, right? Many people worship politicians today, right? Those are people in the mode of passion. They just want what they want. For that, they are ready to worship any human being, right? And then people in the mode of ignorance, what do they do? Whom do they worship?
They worship the Pitrus.
And Pitrus and
And
actually
ghosts.
worshipping Pitrus is still okay, right? We also do it on these offering days.
Shraddha days, yeah.
They worship ghosts and spirits.
Ghosts and
Yes,
spirits, yeah.
they worship
Evil.
ghosts and spirits, right? Evil-minded people, they worship ghosts and spirits. And finally, they will go there only, right? They will also they will also become ghosts and spirit after giving up the body, right? So that is very, very important. And then who will worship Krishna? Then we never covered Krishna in these three categories.
Devotees.
Devotees.
Devotees. So people who are in Shuddha Sattva Guna worship Krishna. Right? So that's why once we become devotees, we are no more in the modes of passion, ignorance, or goodness. We actually transcend and go to the mode of Shuddha Sattva Guna. But again, sadhana has to be there to achieve that stage. Right? Sincerity in the heart has to be there. Right? And more than anything, Vaishnava's blessings and mercy is needed. Right? For that only we have to do seva. In the association of devotees, we need to serve pure devotees and also serve the book Bhagavatam, read Bhagavatam every day. That's very important. See, if one does unalloyed, pure, unmotivated, uninterrupted, unflinching devotion to Krishna, they can transcend the influence of material modes. So, this is not easy. Just we are all in neophyte stage, so achieving this stage is not easy at this point in time. But this is the result, this is the goal, this is what we have to aim for. Transcending the influence of material modes and going to Shuddha Sattva Guna. Okay, then can attain the level of Brahman, ultimately surrender to Krishna. We have to surrender to the Lord, right? Manasa, Vacha, Karmana, we have to surrender. That is very important. Manasa, with our mind, Vacha, through our words, through our actions, Karmana, we have to surrender to the Lord. Right? So Krishna says, no, mamchayo avyabhicharena bhakti yogena sevate sagunan samatityaitan brahma bhuyaya kalpate. Sagunan samatityaitan. The person who is, can transcend the gunas, the three modes of material nature and get situated in Brahman, but upon doing what? Mamchayo avyabhicharena, uninterrupted, unalloyed, right? Ahaituki aprati, right? Yayatma suprasidati. Uninterrupted, any reason we shouldn't stop that kind of bhakti, right? Even if we are in serious trouble, we shouldn't stop doing bhakti. That is called avyabhicharena. All the time, unflinching, strong devotional service to the Lord, right? That comes only when we have strong faith in the Lord, right? Many times when we get problems, what we do, we'll be like, Krishna exists. If Krishna existed, this wouldn't have happened, right? So no faith only. We will start questioning the existence of the Lord, right? When serious problems happen to us, right? But devotees, they say, no, because Krishna is there with me, big problem became small. Can you imagine? That is the attitude of a devotee. And that shows where we stand in our devotional service. Long way to go, but with the mercy of Vaishnavas, it's possible. Okay, so next 15th chapter talks about the yoga of the Supreme Person. Okay, let's try and finish, right? 15th, we are doing 16, 17, 18, right? Till 8:30, we will finish it off. So, in chapter, Krishna talks about the yoga of the Supreme Person, how to attain the Lord, right? So, it's very important. He says, talks about the banyan tree, right? The inverted banyan tree. So, what exactly is this inverted banyan tree? Anyone can explain? It's very easy. It's a nice brushing up of Gita. We've forgotten everything. Yes, anyone? Which banyan tree is Krishna talking about? What kind of banyan tree is this? Urdhvamulam.
It's a perverted reflection.
Perverted reflection of what?
Spiritual world.
Yes, very nice. So the banyan tree represents the spiritual world, and the inverted banyan tree, what Krishna is talking about here, is the, as Mataji said, is a reflection, is the material world actually. So spiritual world's reflection is material world, but it is not a healthy reflection. It is a perverted reflection. right? Whatever is highest in the spiritual world becomes the lowest in the material world, and whatever is lowest in the material world becomes the highest in the spiritual world, right? That's why Krishna says, Urdhva Moolam Adashakam Ashwattam Prahuravyayam Chandamsi Yasya Parnani Yastam Vedasa Vedavit. Urdhva Moolam, right? The roots become roots are always below, right? And below the soil, right? That becomes the topmost in this particular inverted banyan tree. Whatever is below in the spiritual world becomes the topmost in the material world, and whatever is topmost in the material world becomes the most insignificant in the spiritual world. Any example? Not example. What is actually very superior, considered superior in the spiritual world, which is considered very bad in the material world?
Lovers, Mataji. Like lovers have a very
Yes?
lovers.
Prema.
Parakiya bhav. Love is still considered okay, but the parakiya bhav, right? Having multiple partners or having a relationship outside marriage is considered very, very bad in the material world. But that is Radha bhav, that is Gopi bhav in the spiritual world. That's considered highest, right? And what is considered the lowest in the spiritual world, which is considered highest in the material world?
Married.
No? Any guesses? Position and money. Wealth and position is considered highest, no, in the material world. In spiritual world, nobody cares about it because they know Krishna is the highest. They know Krishna is if anybody should have any position, it is Krishna. They know that very well. And everybody becomes subservient of the immediate, devotee there. They have levels. Right, like Krishna, then immediate subservient is Radharani, then immediate subservient are the Sakhis, the principal 8 Sakhis, then the other Sakhis, then the other Sakhis, right? We have 108 Sakhis, then there are so many lakhs of Sakhis. After all Sakhis comes the Manjaris. Then, there are levels like that. So, a devotee takes pleasure in the spiritual world by being a subservient. Gopi Bharti or Padakamalay or do Dasa Dasanudasa. Dasa Dasanudasa. They don't want to serve Krishna directly. They want to serve Dasa of Krishna. Can you imagine? So that is considered highest in the material world, but it's tuchchavat, it's insignificant in the material, in the spiritual world. Right? So that's where humility acts again. If you become very humble in the material crowd, they will consider you to be a fool. Right? But in the spiritual world, that's the major quality you need to enter Goloka. Right? So that's why. So this is what the tree explains, right? So it's a reflection, but it's a perverted reflection. Surrender process, one who cultivates the qualities of nirmama, right? Nirmama, nirahankara, right? Nirmama means we should not claim proprietorship over anything because nothing is ours, everything is Krishna's. Nirahankara means false ego, right? I am not the doer. Sometimes we say, no, I did this seva, but I didn't do any seva. First of all, I got the seva because Vaishnavas gave it to me. And who gave me the strength to do it? Paramatma in the heart. Right? So that I factor should go. That is nirahankara. Then surrender process will come. And then what? Krishna describes little more Jiva Tattva and transmigration of Jiva in this chapter. Okay, this is something we know, right? No need to delve into it. Then Krishna talks about his spiritual world. Natad bhashayate suryo na shashanko na pavaka yad gatvana nivartante tadhama paramamama. Right? Na shashanko na pavaka. A spiritual world where he stays do not need sun or moon. Right? How does it get light then? From his body. Right? The light, Brahmajyoti from his body is enough to illuminate the entire Goloka and all the spiritual world too, all the Vaikunthas as well, right? Then Krishna talks about our own position also. Mamai Vamsho Jiva Loke Jiva Bhuta Sanatana Manashastan Indriyani Prakritistani Karshati. Mamai Vamsho, we are all eternally fragmented parts of the Lord, right? Eternally fragmented parts of the Lord. Mamai Vamsho Jiva Loke. And then Krishna also talks about in this He sits in the heart as super soul. Sarvasya chaham hridi sannivishto matta smritir jnanam apohanam cha vedescha sarvarahameva veda vedanta krid veda videva chaham. Right? He sits in everyone's heart. And matta smritir jnanam apohanam cha. Smriti, knowledge. I mean, remembrance. Jnanam is knowledge. Apohanam, that is forgetfulness. All the three things Krishna only gives. Right? So Krishna only gives. The forgetfulness of Krishna only gives. And then he says, knowing the Vedas is knowing the Lord. That is very important, right? So, knowing Vedas, and Vedas means knowledge, right? Everything in the world is given in the Vedas. So, if you say you know Vedas, that means you should know Krishna. And knowing Krishna is equivalent to knowing everything. Raja Vidya, that's why 9th chapter is described as the most confidential knowledge. Raja Vidya, Raja Guhyam, Pavitram Paramam Bhavan, right? Yeah, okay, whatever. Then Krishna is the compiler of Vedanta and knower of the Vedanta. And two categories of living entities, source of Paramatma is Bhagavan. What are the two categories of living entities this chapter talks about? Anyone? Hare Krishna, what are the two sources of living entities? I mean, two categories of living entities?
Moving and non-moving.
No. The fallible and apara. Okay, the fallible and infallible.
And the infallible. Yeah.
Yeah. So fallible are people who are on the material world, right? They are fallible. They are nitya baddhas. And people in the spiritual world are infallible. They are nitya siddhas, right? Because they are still serving the Lord in Goloka in their swarupa. Right, they are infallible, but Krishna is the supreme infallible. Out of the two categories of living entities, Krishna is considered superior. Even out of the even for the infallible category, Krishna is still considered the superior. Okay, so that is about the Lord. Now the 16th chapter talks about the Daivasura Sampada Yoga, right? The divine and the demoniac natures. Daiva, Daivika gunas, the qualities of divine people or devotees, and Asura, that is demoniac qualities, right? So, for devotees, the qualities list is very small, right? Krishna says, Abhayam Sattva Samshuddhir Jnana Danam Damascha Yajnascha goes on and on explaining the demoniac qualities. Right? So he says, no, simplicity, Vedic studies, fearlessness, goodness, purity at heart, truthfulness, right? Forgiveness. These are all qualities for divine people or devotees. But for demons, right? Krishna never stops. The whole chapter talks only about the demoniac qualities, right? Ego, pride, controlling tendency, and lust, anger, greed, the three gates to hell. This can be an interview question also. Lust, anger, greed, right? The three gates to hell. All this will be asked. Okay? Yeah. So next chapter talks about 17th, the divisions of faith. So Shraddha-traya Vibhaga Yoga, right? The Shraddha is also divided into Traya, right? Three divisions. That is mode of goodness. How is faith in the mode of goodness? How is faith mode of passion, and how is faith in the mode of ignorance? Shraddha is also divided in the three modes. And so Krishna, Arjuna starts this chapter with a question. What about people who worship their own manufactured god, or they think of some form in the mind and they start worshipping. They don't worship the form which is authorized by the scriptures, right? Like they have a god in mind who has, say, some three hands, who is of rainbow color, right? Different forms, right? Like a unicorn. If what category do such people belong to, right? Who have their own kind of faith and create a form. They give their own form to the Lord and they worship, right? Then Krishna talks about it. Shraddha is also divided into three modes, and how do people behave in those three modes, right? So this way Krishna touches upon sacrifices in the three modes, right? And the right? Austerity of speech, in the three modes. How do people in the three modes talk? How do people in the three modes do charity? Everything, whatever is needed in our daily life, right? Everything Krishna covers in this chapter. Right? So food in the three modes. People in the mode of goodness should not eat onion, garlic. They should eat only fruits, vegetables, grains, milk, and everything. But no onion, garlic, no egg, right? Because egg belongs to the mode of passion. Onion, garlic belong to the mode of ignorance, tamoguna. Non-vegetarian food belongs to the mode of ignorance, right? So all that we need to avoid. Sacrifices, austerity of speech, everything in the three modes. Charity, for example, right? People in the mode of goodness do charity, but they do not expect anything in return, and they do charity to Vaishnavas or temples. But mode in the, people in the mode of passion do charity for publicity and with expectation in return. They think, okay, if I do help here, this person might help me someday, or to save income tax activities. Those are all people in the mode of passion. People of in the mode of ignorance, they do charity for bad things. Helping a person buy liquor, buy drugs, smuggle goods. So these are all different types of charity in the three modes, right? And people in the mode of Shuddha Sattva Guna do not eat anything other than sanctified food, or food which is first offered to the Lord, right? And then austerity of speech is also there, right? We have to speak kindly, with love, and truth only we have to speak. This is all people in the mode of goodness. They keep lying, shouting, arguing. This is people in the mode of passion. And people in the mode of ignorance, they are very ill mannered. They use bad words, and they just don't know how to talk, right? Unparliamentary language and everything. Right? And yeah, so these are all different you can go through, but not very important. You can just know the gist of it, right? And then the last chapter talks about the perfection of renunciation, right? So Krishna summarizes and revises the entire Bhagavad Gita. So we have a summary already in second chapter, but eighth chapter is a very detailed summarization. Okay, where he gives the last instruction: Sarvadharman parityaja mam ekam sharanam vraja aham tvam sarva papebhyo mokshayami ma shucha. That's the last instruction. And then there are the kamya karmas. Okay, so those activities that we choose to do voluntarily for our enjoyment, giving up this based on our choice, is sannyasa. And tyaga is giving up the results of one's activities. Krishna encourages renunciation of results, not the renunciation of activity. Right? Krishna never said, okay, Arjuna, don't do all this, don't fight, go sit in the forest. He said, fight for me. Right? Krishna said, give up the results for me. Right? So Krishna always encourages renunciation of results, not activity in itself. That's very important. Natyajam karyameva tat yagnyodanam tapaschaiva pavanani manishinam. Even if you are a liberated personality, Krishna says you shouldn't give up yajna, dana, tapa, karma. Right? Your sacrifices, charity, austerity, and karma, the duties. These four things we are not supposed to. Natyajam. Right? But we have to continue to do, even we are pavanani manishinam, liberated souls. Even if we are greatest devotees, we are not supposed to give up these four things. Right? This is what he says. Then Krishna talks about the action, the 5 factors necessary for the action, and the modes control all activities of all human beings. How we are entangled. Right? Then what else? Krishna talks about Varnashrama Dharma, purifications. Why we have to perform Varnashrama or practice Varnashrama Dharma? It is again for purification purpose, but in Yoga, Varnashrama has lost its meaning. Supposed to follow Varnashrama. We are supposed to just chant the holy name, whichever ashrama and Varna we are in. Right? Then, what are the 4 groups Varna is divided into? What are the 4 Varnas we have? Yes, and what are the 4 ashramas we have?
Brahmanas, Kshatriyas, Vaishyas, and Shudras.
Yeah, that is the 4 Varnas. And what are the 4 ashramas?
Brahmacharya, Grihastha, Vanaprastha, and Sannyasa.
Yeah, very nice. Haribol. Right, and then Krishna says Varnashrama is needed, yes, but that's not the ultimatum. What is ultimatum? Bhakti. Bhaktyam avabijanati yavan yastasmi tatvata tato mam tatvato gnatva vishate tadanantaram. Right? Bhaktyam avabijanati. Krishna concludes with bhakti. So even in Jnana Yoga, bhakti is coming, right? So in all the Jnana Yoga chapters, if you see, bhakti is actually playing a major role, right? So one can understand Krishna not by doing Varnashrama, by doing bhakti. Surrender process has to be there. Krishna has to be kept in the center, right? That is very important. And yeah, again Krishna talks about manmana bhava madbhakto. That shloka repeats in this. So this shloka is very important in both the chapters. We need to learn the shloka, think of him, become his devotee, worship him, and offer obeisances. Manmana bhava madbhakto madhyaji mam namaskuru, right? And then give up all kinds of substandard religions, right? Sarva dharman parityajya. That is the main instruction Krishna gives in this chapter. And that is the whole, I mean, that's the most important instruction also. Concluding instruction. Take shelter of Bhakti Yoga and Krishna will remove all obstacles in our surrendering process. Very important, right? Moksheshyami mashucham. Don't fear, Krishna says. Right? So surrendering process, if we are sincere in surrendering to the Lord, then we do not have to worry at all, right? And then Krishna also talks about who is going to be very, very dear to him. Krishna says the one who Bhagavad Gita to others is going to become very, very dear to Krishna, right? So we have to always spread the knowledge of Gita. That is very important. And that ISKCON is completely based on that very movement, right? Preaching movement. And then yeah, Krishna says, do your prescribed duty, but do it with devotion, as devotional service, right? And then do it with detachment. Do not get attached to the results, right? And then, yeah, Arjuna's illusion is gone. So Krishna says, no, yate ichhyasi tata kuru. However, so Krishna says, okay, now I have told you everything. Yate ichhyasi tata kuru. Whatever you want, only you decide. Whether you want to fight or whether you don't want to fight, it's up to you, Arjuna. I have given you the knowledge. Yatha ichhyasi, what you desire, you do. Right? Then what Arjuna replies for that? Karishye vachanam tava. Right? I will do as you say. Whatever you say, as it is, I will do, my Lord, he says. Right? So, the essence of the Gita. When you inquire from a senior devotee what we should do, and when they give you the instruction, and when we say, oh, okay, this is the instruction, but it's very difficult, I can't do, I will do what I want, then there is no point of taking guidance, right? Krishna gave the guidance and Arjuna accepted it, right? That is the first quality of a devotee. Very, very important. And then Sanjaya says, yatra yogeshwara Krishna tatra partho dhanadhara tatra shrir vijayo bhutir dhruva nitir matir mama. Wherever there is the Lord, right? Wherever there is Krishna, and wherever there is a devotee like Arjuna, right? There Shrir, Vijayo and Bhutir, everything will come, right? The wealth, victory, right? Everything will come automatically. No need to ask for it separately. That is the essence. That's why wherever there is Krishna worshipped, along with a pure devotee, that's why all altars should have Prabhupada's photo, right? There, automatically, Vijaya and Shri will be there. Okay? Hare Krishna. Yeah, I think. Thank you all. Any questions? I think I was fast, no? Any questions?
Mataji, tomorrow also you're going to continue the class?
No, overview is over, Mataji.
Okay, okay.
Okay? That's why I extended for like 15-20 minutes.
Okay, okay. Any other topics you feel like taking, you can conduct, Mataji. Any other topics which you feel that it will help for the interview?
Yes, Mataji. I'll check and I'll let you know.
Okay.
Okay. Any questions? Anybody about this topic? No questions? Then we'll end. Hare Krishna. Vanchakalpatarubhyascha kripa sindhubhya eva cha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. Anakoti Vaishnavinda ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Hare Krishna.
Hare
Thank you all.
Krishna, Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Mataji.